Welcome back to the 5% podcast. My name is Amir. I'm the founder and host. So, on today's episode, we are going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys NFL team. This episode is just going to be like a review of how we're feeling about this team and their trajectory and how far they've come and all that stuff and everything pertaining to that. On today's episode, my guest is Matt Marks. I'll go to introduce him in a few seconds. But this guy is, he has the best expert opinions. Totally not biased. But I thought he'd be a good fit to contribute on this podcast. And so, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let our guest take it away.
Well, thanks, Amir. Yeah, no, it's great to be here. And I see, best opinion, I don't know. That's put me on a really high mark I got to hit. And that's a lot of pressure, but no, hey,
yeah, I was going to say no pressure at all, bro.
Well, look, I'm always happy to talk about the boys, but it's also good to see you, Amir. It's been a while, and we've known each other for a long time and different states now. But glad we get to, catch up here and talk a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys. So
let's do it.
So where do we start? Where do we?
All right. So let's take a look at this team. They are 9-3. Second in the NFC West, NFC East, right?
NFC East, yes,
okay,
sir.
Just want to make sure I'm not stupid. Yeah. So I mean, like, how do you feel about how they've done this season? I mean, last season was last season. Let's just just to briefly recap our audience. Last season they still did pretty good. I felt. They just I mean, the ending against the 49ers was just unfortunate. I mean, obviously the 49ers went on to go play the Eagles in the NFC title game. So from that point on, Matt, how do you feel? Like, have the Cowboys improved in your eyes? Like, have they stayed the same? How do you feel about this team at this point on December 8th, 2023?
Yeah, well, I mean, you look back to last year and, when we have to face the 49ers, they're our kryptonite. We just can't beat them. And the 49ers are such a good team. I mean, they're the best team in the NFL. I mean, that's the way when they're as a complete package, offense, defense, they are a juggernaut. And so, yeah, I try to burn those memories out from the end of last year. With Zeke, that last play. Oh my gosh, that was
my God, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. No, that was bad.
It was Zeke at center, right?
It was Zeke at center. Yes.
What on?
Yep. And
I'm
then,
not gonna question. I'm not gonna question.
Then I still try to erase the memories from 2 years ago playing the 49ers when we didn't spike the ball or didn't, we didn't have timeouts.
The ball all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So try to forget that. So thank you. I've now remembered those two very traumatic times for Cowboys fans. But no, look, this team, a lot of changes. You hand over the offense to Mike McCarthy, and I think he's done a really good job. The Cowboys have 3 losses this year. Once against Arizona, that should not have happened. That was a sad loss. That was a 28-16.
How did that happen?
How did that happen? Well, yeah, it was just not good is what they just, again, 28-16, and we let Arizona.
Was that when they had Josh Dobbs?
Yeah, Dobbs was there. I know. Hey, Dobbs is good.
I mean, hey, no hate towards Josh Dobbs. That guy's balled out. I like my respect to him. My hat's off to him,
He has done so well this season for Arizona, Minnesota.
Very performances.
Yeah, I mean,
and not 2 different teams. I mean, it's been the Vikings, the Cardinals, and then wasn't there another team, or was that it?
For this season, that was it. But he's been around the league. I mean, but yeah, no, that was a pathetic game. That should have been an easy win. And then we faced San Fran a couple weeks later and get blown out. And again, that was ugly. And then we lost to the Eagles in Philly by 5. But since then, the Cowboys have won 4 in a row. Philly rematch this weekend. I mean, tell you, man, a lot's happening. I'm excited. I'm excited for the rematch
Why are you excited?
because the boys are going to win. This is their shot, man.
Are
They're
you
winning, tying up the division. They're taking the division after this.
are you calling it right now?
I'm calling it right now. Cowboys almost won in Philly. They lost by 5. They were about to score, then penalties and the home cooking in Philly
So wait,
prevented that.
I'm just like a little curious. Like, do you know who the opposing quarterback is?
Oh, I know. I like Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
I like Jalen.
I just want to make sure you knew that before
Yes.
you like, predicted,
Oh, I know. Hey, I'm a Jalen
before you
fan.
got a little too
I'm
far
not an
ahead of
Eagles
yourself.
fan. What?
Before you get a little too far ahead of yourself. I just want
Well,
to make sure
thank
you
you.
knew that.
Yeah, humble me, please. But
Hey,
look,
no.
look,
I'm not I'm not trying to be that one guy, but like, I just want to make sure we're on the same page here. You
well,
know?
thank you. Yeah, look, I like Jalen, and he's great. Jalen's one of the MVP front runners. I mean, the
Mm.
dude has been balling out. He has won. I mean, every time I feel like the Eagles are going to finally lose a game, he finds a way to score against like the Bills a couple of weeks ago.
He's that
I
dude.
mean, he came back from being down, I don't know, 2, 3 scores in the game, won in overtime. I mean, he finds a way. He is a great quarterback. I'll give him credit. I hate the Eagles, and that's why I don't want to cheer for them. But I like Jalen. Jalen's good. OU guy. We like him. We support him. You know.
That's right.
But
That's right.
yeah, no, I've got to go. I'm going with my boys, obviously. And this is going to be a great one. This is going to be, I think, one of the games of the year for this division, and in the NFL between these two teams with Dak and Jalen, and in Dallas, where Dallas is 6-0. They have
Oh, it's
not
in
lost a game.
Dallas.
It is in Dallas.
Do you think that's a
Dallas
game
is 6-0.
changer?
Yeah, I think so. And this is what's important, I think, for the Cowboys this year for the playoff picture. They want to get that division. They want to get home field advantage because the Cowboys are dominant at home. And they don't want to go on the road and do this. They can do it, but I don't want to see San Fran early. I hope someone knocks them out early. And I know that's not the case. So we're probably going to see San Fran again, the way this thing shapes out. But
Dude, here's the thing, man.
tough.
Like, based off what happened last week, I was kind of, I mean, the 49ers just beat the brakes off the Eagles. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no other way to put it. I mean, Debo Samuel just went off. I mean, like, I remember on my fantasy team. So this was a stupid decision on my part. I somehow benched him in favor of Brandon Cooks, who's
Oh,
on the
boy.
Cowboys.
Yes.
Cooks got me like 12 points, and then Debo Samuel got me like 31 points. I was mad after that. But you know what? I mean, end of the day, I still won, so I guess it doesn't matter anymore.
All that matters. You got
Um,
the dub.
oh, exactly, exactly. But here's the thing, like, from a Cowboys fan's perspective, like, which defense would you rather face, the Eagles or the 49ers?
I mean, I'd rather face the Eagles.
Eagles.
I'd
And
rather
why
face
is
the
that?
Eagles. Look, what I mean, because when we played them back on, I've got it right here, week 9. Okay, lost by 5. It was a back and forth battle. Cowboys tried to make a rally. Penalties hurt them late in the game. Weren't able to score at the end. It is what it is. When they played the 49ers earlier this year, I mean, they got blown out 42-10. You know, I think the 49ers, and that's why, again, best team in the league. I mean, record wise, no, I think I don't have the records pulled up. I think it's still the Eagles with their 10 wins. But that 49ers defense, when everything's clicking, I mean, they're dangerous. You go to their offense, like you said, Debo Samuel, CMC. I was like, oh my gosh, and
Yeah, I've been
Brock
talking
Purdy's
about
playing
Debo
lights out.
Samuel this whole time, and I haven't even brought up Brock Purdy. I haven't even brought up Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, all those guys.
Yeah.
Their offense is
George Kittle.
Kittle. I even forgot about Kittle. You
Yeah.
know,
They've got it's their complete unit, and I think they're a dangerous force. Now, when you look at the Eagles, and I guess with Jalen, and I'm not exactly, I think it's been kind of has it been like a knee injury he's kind of been bothered with a little bit all season? Is it?
yeah, I don't know. I heard there was some like injury going on. I don't know exactly what. But I saw this kind of crazy opinion from an NFL Network analyst. I don't remember his name, but he said
I
that
think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah, he said they should bench Jalen in favor of like, is it Marcus Mariota or somebody?
Marcus Mariota. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's stupid. That's such a stupid take.
I yeah I mean I get where he's coming from in terms of like Jalen being injured and let Jalen heal up and rest, but at the same time, I mean, you can't like it's the Cowboys. The Cowboys are no joke this year. Like, you got to both teams have to get full strength in order for it to be a good game.
Yeah.
And both teams have to be at good strength in order for, a team to win.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just, going back to your question, I'm more scared of San Fran. San Fran's had Dallas's number last couple of years for sure. Like, I mean, they've ended our season back to back years. I don't really want to face them again. I would rather go through the Eagles. I think as strong as the Eagles have been, and they find ways to win, and as competitive a game as it's going to be, it's not a give me anyway. I think the Cowboys have a better shot facing Philadelphia than they do going against San Fran. I think San Fran is they're extremely good and they're tough. They're very tough.
Yeah, I mean that defensive line is just ridiculous, and
It's nasty, and they
you know,
got better at the
oh
trade
yeah,
deadline.
oh yeah, they got who'd they get? Chase
Chase
Young.
Young.
Yeah,
They got Chase Young again, and that's another. I know we're not talking about Washington, but that's another dumpster fire. Why is Washington? Why
dude.
are they trading all their defensive guys?
Here's the thing, man. Like, I think at the beginning of the season, Washington showed a little bit of promise. I think Sam Howell is the most underrated QB in the NFL right now. I mean,
Oh,
he's
he's been
he's been
incredible.
balling, man. Like, not just fantasy wise, like he's actually showing promise out there. But I mean, I did think Washington would do a little better than how they're doing. Um, especially because they have like I think they have the Chiefs former OC as their
Yeah, Eric
as their
Bieniemy. Yeah,
OC now. Yeah. He's pretty good. I mean, it's evident that like, their offense has changed, it's gotten a lot better. They're getting Terry McLaurin more involved. They're getting their run game going a little bit, and Sam Howell's looking fantastic. Um, I do think that Washington, you know, I mean, I like my expectation for them would be to be a wild card team, you know, but that obviously that's not going to happen now.
yeah,
But
no,
I did think they would show a little bit more promise, but they haven't shown that yet.
no, and I think Washington. I mean, the biggest thing out there is Ron Rivera is probably going to get fired after this season. There's going to be a coaching change.
You
I
think?
mean, I think so. I like Ron
Mm.
Rivera. I mean, his story is great from him battling cancer, coming back,
Oh
coaching.
yeah.
I mean, he's a great from what I read, really great man, great individual. I
Mm.
think Washington with their new owner, I think is going to make a change. I really do. I mean, they fired Jack Del Rio and their defensive coordinator, and so then Ron Rivera's taking that over. And if it doesn't improve any, which it's not. They just got blown out last week, I think, to the Dolphins in an ugly fashion. I think there's going to be a coaching change, and I think Eric Bieniemy, who has always been talked about being a head coach
I'm
candidate,
surprised he didn't get any head coaching job after leaving Kansas City.
and I bet he gets Washington. I bet they move him into the head coach role if they fire Ron at the
I
end of
can
this
see
season.
that. I can see that.
I think that's probably the plan. I really do.
Yeah. Dude, one thing I was thinking about, this to kind of shift our focus back to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Um, I think it was, oh yeah, it was against Seattle. That Seahawks game.
yeah,
That game was really good, and I want to give a shout out to Micah Parsons. That dude is a game wrecker. He single handedly won that game for them.
yeah.
You know, I
Micah's
mean,
Micah's a great player, man.
oh,
Great
100%.
player.
I mean, I guess my only concern from that game was, I mean, can the Cowboys maintain this energy come playoff time? Because they put on a really good game with the Seahawks. I give them credit, 100%. My biggest question is with all the weapons they have, with CD, Cooks, um, all their entire running back room, Dak, their tight ends, everyone, can they maintain that energy going into January? Obviously, like injuries are injuries. Hopefully, everyone stays healthy, all that. But do you think they'll maintain that energy moving into January?
Yeah, I do. And again, the Cowboys, defense got cooked. DK Metcalf, 3 touchdowns in that game. So that was not exciting to see. I mean, I have the Cowboys defense in a couple of my fantasy lineups. They've been rock solid all year long. And then this game was just not that. I think they will, because you got Philadelphia coming up, you've got Buffalo, you've got Miami, they've got Detroit, and then Washington to wrap up the regular season. A couple of those matchups, explosive offenses, you've got to keep up and match that energy. And I think the defense just had a bad game, and I trust Dan Quinn's defense. They're going to keep that energy, because now if they can beat the Eagles, now the race is wide open here. Who's taking the division over these next couple weeks? So that energy, they have to maintain that energy. They're going to bring it this weekend against the Eagles. It's passionate. The teams hate each other. So they're going to keep it up. This team's not going to fall flat. The defense just got cooked against Seattle, and all credit to Geno Smith finding DK Metcalf, and DK Metcalf doing what he does best and putting up big numbers.
Exactly. Kind of going off that, I have to give a shout out to Deron Bland. Like that dude's been balling. I think he like leads the league in interceptions right now or something.
Yeah, he's set an
Sixes.
NFL record.
Dude, that's incredible. I was not like after Trevon Diggs went down, I was kind of just like skeptical of who's going to be that guy to step up on the Cowboys secondary, but Deron Bland has definitely been that dude.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing with the Cowboys secondary. I watching that Seattle game, like, I was so impressed how physical they were, how like, it really didn't seem like there were like, aside from those DK Metcalf touchdowns, there wasn't really a whole lot of like miscommunication or like mental errors that, sometimes you see in with, some of these defenses.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Dan Quinn has his guys locked in for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and even like on some of DK Metcalf's touchdowns, like I don't know if you remember, it was the later touchdown in the red zone that he was like wide open on that like crossing route or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was basically just the Seattle receivers just like making sure the Cowboys secondary players just like picked each other
Yeah.
basically, and then DK just got open. So I mean, though I feel like those types of things are just hard to like that's just hard. That's just hard to do.
Yeah.
That's from a defensive perspective. That's just really hard to navigate. So I mean I give them credit. I mean, and at the end of the day, you can't stop every play. I mean, look at the national championship. Look at the Super Bowl. I mean, both teams are going to score whether you like it or not. There's not.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't. This isn't college football where teams are going to get blown out 42-0. This is the NFL. Teams are going to score points. There are going to be times when even your best players get scored on.
Yeah.
So so the Cowboys, with all this being said, how do you feel about the Cowboys defense moving forward? Like I said, they're showing a lot of promise. Do you think this energy will carry on to playoffs? Do you think, hopefully this doesn't happen. Knock on wood, the Cowboys are a great team. But if they happen to drop a game against, just random scenario, let's say they drop a game this weekend against the Eagles. Do you think that, that energy could go away? Do you think they'll still be there? Do you think their locker room's strong enough that they can like stay together and all that?
Yeah.
Like what's kind of going through your mind about all that?
Yeah. No, the locker room is very strong. They've got, again, looking at the schedule,
Assuming you have inside sources in on the locker room.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yes, me. I'm talking them all the time. No, you got the Eagles, you got Buffalo, you got Miami coming up. Miami is gonna. Tyreek Hill is going to score his points. That's going to be tough on the defense. That's going to be probably another 41-35 game that we saw with the Seahawks. Hopefully not. Hopefully the Cowboys defense isn't allowing that much to the Dolphins, but when you're going against explosive offenses, Josh Allen can torch anybody. He can torch a really good defense. Now, he'll throw a lot of interceptions, and he's not having the best season himself, but the defense is going to be tested over these next couple of games. And then you get Jared Goff, and then you get Sam Howell to end the regular season. And those should be hopefully a little bit better for, fantasy purposes on it for a defense. The energy is going to be high. The Cowboys are going to bring that energy. I feel really good about what they will do. But they've got a very tough stretch with Philly, Buffalo, and Miami in the next 3 weeks. And yeah, you're right. They're going to score points. Cowboys aren't shutting these teams out. They're going to be close games, probably into the fourth quarter. But hopefully the Cowboys can at least get that stop at the end or in the fourth quarter, get a couple of those plays, get a couple of interceptions. I mean, that's what, as you're talking about Bland, you're talking about Micah Parsons, sacking the quarterback. We've got a really good defensive core that they're making the plays. They are. Dan Quinn has put a really good system together.
He
That's why
has.
I've been
He
really
has.
happy. Yeah, that I'm happy he hasn't left yet. He wanted to stay in Dallas. Jerry Jones said, "I'm going to give you how much money you want to stay here." I appreciate that because he's been one of the probably Jerry Jones' best hires in the last, I don't know, years of getting Dan Quinn on this staff because he has transformed the Dallas Cowboys defense into one of the very best over the last 2-3 year span. I mean, it's been incredible.
Wow. That's really high praise.
High praise, yeah. I love Dan Quinn, man. I
There
hate
you
that,
go.
his story included him choking it away in the Super Bowl that one year. But hey, I'm glad that he's now in Dallas
Yeah, I
doing what he
mean,
did best with defense.
he's certainly proved himself, I mean, you said it, man. Yeah, so look at the Cowboys' upcoming schedule. I mean, like you said, they've got Philly this weekend, they got the Bills, they got the Dolphins, they got the Lions, and they got the Commanders. I'd say only one of those games is probably like, gonna be an easy win. All those other games, dude, like those are tough games, you know?
100%.
So I mean, it's I think that I think that stretch of tough games is what's going to help the Cowboys and really test them as to see if they're really a team that can truly um, compete with the big boys, so to say.
Yeah. Well, and in two of the games, Buffalo and Miami back to back are on the road. So Dallas is going to
Oh,
get that nice home game against the
okay.
Eagles. That will be fun this weekend. But then they're not going to get a home game until the end of the month against the Lions, and then
Yeah,
that'll be their last home game of the regular season.
yeah. I think. Well, here's the thing: the Bills, like, they had a really slow start. I mean, they weren't. Josh Allen wasn't playing very well. Um, And then they switched their offensive coordinator, to Joe Brady, and they kind of started to pick things up a little bit. But here's the thing, like I don't know if they're gonna be that Bills team we're thinking, you know, just because they haven't. I mean, yeah, they've showed glimpses here and there, but not on a consistent basis. I mean, I
No.
just don't know if that's gonna be their best game. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, obviously, it's hard to predict that right now. But there's I mean, based on how they've been playing, I mean, it might be a little easier for the Cowboys, I think, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, the Bills are 6-6. I mean, they're 5-2 at home, so they're going to have that going for them in that Cowboys matchup. But yeah, I mean, they're not the same team. They've had a few games that they've lost it at the end, games that they've just looked really pathetic. Josh Allen hasn't looked great. He's thrown a lot of interceptions. So yeah, and the injuries too. This is not the same Bills team that we saw in the last couple of years that, in the season with like 3-4 losses. I mean, they're only 500 right now. And
Yeah.
they've got to really turn it on over the last couple of games to even have a shot at the playoffs, if that even happens. I mean, they are 3 games back from the Dolphins in the division right now. So yeah, no, you're right. It may be easier than in the past facing a Bills team. You're right. Could be.
Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to bring up, CeeDee Lamb is a 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah.
That's huge, man. Like, I mean, we both saw this guy play in college, he's an absolute baller, and I'd say the only thing that I would like to see from the Cowboys offense is Dak to get him even more involved. I 100% think CD's your best receiver.
Mhm.
I don't think there's an argument for that. I mean it's literally not debatable. I mean, what do you think? I mean, do you think
No,
CD? Do you think the same, or do you think another receiver is the better? receiver.
Yeah, no, he is the best receiver. And that's always been the talk of who's the number 2 now to CeeDee Lamb, right? We used to have Amari Cooper and we got rid of him. Who's that next guy? It hasn't been Michael Gallup. It hasn't. I mean, there's been this. You name off all these people. Is it going to be Cooks? Is it going to be Gallup? Is it going to be, well, wide receivers? That's really it.
That's
I
really
mean,
it. I
I
mean,
mean, that's it.
there's no really it's not. I don't. And when I say this, I don't mean to like put alcohol in the wound or anything, but it's not like Green Bay or something, where they have like a good quarterback and all just like a entourage of receivers, that Aaron Rodgers did, you
Yeah,
know. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, dude, it'll be interesting to see what happens, and I want to see CeeDee Lamb like, not that he hasn't done enough, but I want to see the Cowboys put him in, the best situations. You know, I want to see him win, you know?
Yeah, I definitely too. And I think that's one thing that well, we've seen with the offense with the Cowboys, Dak has been, really great this year. I mean, his stats right now, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's been nice that he's cleaned that up because we saw last year when it was just almost kind of a Josh Allen thing. He's throwing a pick every game. He's cleaned it up. He's using his legs more. I like this offense that McCarthy's got. Dak is a very dangerous weapon. And yes, while everything is around CeeDee Lamb and we're seeing Jake Ferguson. I mean, Jake Ferguson, our tight end, is second on the team in receptions. Then you got Cooks and then Gallup and then Pollard. But again, it revolves around CeeDee Lamb. But Dak's doing a lot too. And when you get Dak being mobile, that's the key to the offense that people have to worry about. Okay, Dak could be a threat. Now, Dak's not just going to go run all over the place, and he's not like Jalen Hurts or he's not like Lamar. But when Dak's using his legs, this offense is moving down the field, and getting everyone involved is important. Even though he doesn't have that second guy, he's kind of using just a wider range of guys to be second behind CeeDee Lamb.
Here's my only thing, and I agree that Dak's been good, but in my opinion, he hasn't been great. Um, I don't think. I mean, Dak just hasn't. I feel like Dak hasn't proved himself. He hasn't proved that he can do well in these clutch moments, in these big moments, in these big, big, big games. I mean, look at how he's done in January in the past. I mean, he's totally just, you know, he's wet the bed basically. I mean, I mean, like, am I missing a perspective here? Like, what, how do you feel about his, you know, you know, do you feel there's regular season Dak and then there's playoff Dak, or like, how do you know, what do you truly feel about that?
Well, look, I'm gonna try to see if I can even pull up some of his stats, but I think just in the last 2 years, again, the 49ers have had the Cowboys number. Sure, there's been some plays that some mistakes. Offensively, the Cowboys have just stalled out on some drives and missed some opportunities. But I think that, again, that 49ers defense in the last 2 years has really shut the Cowboys down. Now, the Cowboys made boneheaded mistakes 2 years ago. No timeouts, throw the ball down the field. And then they have that whole debacle. Then last year, how as ugly as that ended. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the playoffs, I mean, in Dak's playoff career, passing 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Last year had a couple of big interceptions in the 2 games that he had. Not a whole lot of playoff games that, in his career, only 6. But
Yeah, that's true.
I just don't pin it all on
I
Dak.
mean, do you feel like it's fair to judge him based off those games, or do you feel it's better to judge him based off the regular season games?
I think you should judge him. I think you should judge him on both. I mean, in regular season, Dak has done so well for the Cowboys. I mean, they're winning divisions. They're right up there. I mean, bless
Excuse
you.
me.
I mean, again, I know the division is weak besides the Eagles. I mean, the Giants aren't threatening, and Washington's not threatening at all. But Dak has had a really good career in Dallas. He's done well. Yes, we want to get him that ring. I know everyone's going to judge on how many rings, and I get that. That's what you want. You got to get that ring. But Dak has not been a disappointment in Dallas. Dak's the guy, and we're gonna try to do what we can with Dak, and hopefully that leads to a Super Bowl with the team that we have and the young players that we have and the defense that we have. The window's now. We just have to get past San Francisco. If we can get past the Eagles, the hardest team in the NFC is going to be San Francisco. And then, if they get to the Super Bowl, we see who we're matching up against.
So I think I'm getting allergic to, you
Talking
bring
about Dak,
Cowboys in
right?
the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. No.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, you're welcome for that. I know.
Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So we'll see. I do believe in Dak though. I do believe in Dak, and we just gotta make something happen in these next couple years, or the window's gonna close.
Well, I'm hoping the Dallas Cowboys hear this directly from Matt Marks himself. But
Try to inspire.
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. With that being said, that concludes this episode on a review of the Dallas Cowboys from this past season. Um, we wanted to give a special shout out to the OU Food Pantry, whom I'll let Matt talk more about briefly. Matt, go for it.
Yeah. So I work with the OU Food Pantry, take care of students, staff, faculty on the Norman OU campus. It's just a great resource. We serve like 500 people a week. So love anybody that wants to support us. You can visit us on our website, donate online, donate through our Amazon wish list, bring some canned food items if you're in the area. Like it really makes a difference. So love to have the support.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Matt. We really appreciate it. And the link will be available with this episode. So if you wish to donate to the OU Food Pantry, that will be available shortly. With that being said, thank you for tuning in, and let's hope we can do more of these.
Heck yeah, man. This was good. It was good to see you again, Amir. Thanks so much for having me on.